Hey, 2nd through 5th leaders, it's upgrade week, and that means you have new kids in your group. If you're a 2nd grade leader, your kinder and first will be coming to you for the first time. If you are one of the other leaders, I think you've all moved up with your group, so you should have the same kids, but you may be positioned in a different part of the room. For instance, if you were a 3rd grade girls leader, you will now go to the other side of the room and join 4th and 5th grade. Same with 206, 207 with the boys. If you were a 3rd grade leader, you'll bump over. But pretty much it should be fun. I'll have carpets and bins labeled this week so that you know where to sit. Thank you to our new members of the team who are joining us to handle 2nd grade. You're awesome. Here's how this works. Your opening game is right here and attached in the email, but basically we have a little piece of tape with a smiley face on it, and you're going to put it on the bottom of your shoe. I know it sounds weird, but then what you're going to do is ask the kids to look for a smiley face in your room. Before you do this, you're going to have them link elbows in a circle. They can either be facing each other or facing outward, whatever they decide, but they have to move as a group. And as they move around the room, if they get, you're going to say hot or cold, warm or cold, cooler, depending on where you are, because the smiley face is at the bottom of your shoe. Obviously, they're not going to be able to find it, or once they're like hot, 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 they're going to be looking all up and down you. It might be tricky even to walk around the room and change the cold and hot spot to see if they catch on. This is an easy game. As kids jump in, you can say, okay, join us. We're looking for a smiley face. Help us join us. And so that's your opening activity. Then your second open activity, we're going to introduce the Bible verse to the kids with a game. First, you're going to have them look up the verse. You're going to read it out loud using your Bible. And then you're going to give them cards where they're going to have to illustrate what each part of the verse is. The verse is a cheerful heart makes you healthy, but a broken spirit dries you up. Your discussion guide has some things to introduce the verse and to talk about and examine it before you play the game that follows. The game that follows is after they've done their illustrations of just the portion of the verse, and they each get a copy of the first part of the verse and the second part of the verse. You're going to put them together and shuffle them all. Then what you're going to do is break your kids up into 2 teams, and you're going to put all of the cards out, or actually, you're going to shuffle them, give them each half of the deck, and then they're going to put them out face down. And then when you say go, one member of their team is going to go over and flip over as many of the cards as you have suggested, whether it's the first part or second part. You're going to pick either the first part of the verse or the second part of the verse, and then they're going to have to flip those over. And so the first person from each team to finish flipping what they think are the right cards, then you'll stop everybody and see if they only flipped the card that you needed. If they make a mistake, then the point goes to the other team. Then you're going to collect them, shuffle them, do them in half, and do that again, okay? You're going to do that until we get into large group. When you're in large group, please sit with your kids. We go to large group in 206, 207 for you new 2nd grade leaders. Following that, it is the story of going after the one lost sheep. We're going to be talking all this month about celebrating what God does in our lives. And for this one, we are going to be talking about joy and the story of finding the lost sheep, okay? So when you get back from large group, you're going to have 2 of these fun little bins of corn. And in one of the bins, or in both and all of the bins, is one red kernel. So there's probably 1,000 other kernels of popcorn, but there's one red one. And what you're going to do is you're going to break your group up into 2 teams. If your teams are small, go ahead and group up with another grade to play this game. But you're going to give them each one of these. Okay, break them up into 2 teams. The first kid, shake them really good hold your hand on the lid so they don't spill. Then what you're going to do when you say go, they're going to open the lid and they're going to have to go in and not taking any popcorn out or spilling it on the floor. They're going to have to find the red one. First team that finds the red one gets a point. Then they get an opportunity to answer a question from the Bible story review. And then they get it right, they get another point, or the other team can steal both points. Okay? And there's 6 questions, so you can definitely do 6 rounds of this. You can make up your own questions. You can ask them to try to recite the verse from before. But the whole idea is that we're reviewing the story and kind of enforcing the fact of what it looks like to look for one sheep. And that's the tie to the popcorn, okay? After that, we go into discussion and prayer. Discussion and prayer is a very important part of what we do every week. And so there is actually a little worksheet to go along with this discussion and prayer, but you want to read through this and know what you're doing. There's little code words here. You can see they've jumbled up regular letters with numbers, and you're going to challenge the kids to say those things, okay, if they can figure it out. Then you're going to challenge them to come up with another phrase using like numbers instead of letters, and then trade them with another kid to see if they can get the answer. The whole purpose of this is to show that we have to look with different eyes than the rest of the world looks, that we have the eyes of God, we have the heart for his people. And so like looking for the sheep might not make sense to people because maybe it's not worth it to look for one sheep out of 1,000 or 100, obviously. But we look at the world differently, and everyone has value, okay? So that's that. Then you're going to finish with kind of a fun game. If you're still working through your discussion questions, don't race through those. And it's pickup time, it's fine. If you don't get to this, it's no big deal. We can start it with the next group or use it another time. Basically, they're going to play a game, and in this game, there is a stack of cards, and what you're going to do is have the kids all stand up around the cards, and you're going to shuffle them and put them face down on the ground, okay? They're going to have one at a time. One kid from the group picks it up. If it's the sheep with the bow, you're prompted to say, found, and everybody responds with joy, okay? There's other sheep in here where the other sheep, when they show up, you just keep flipping. If they get a wolf that shows up, then the game is over because the wolf eats the sheep. And then you shuffle them and you start again and play again, okay? So it's just kind of a real fun, quick game while we're waiting to get picked up. Awesome, y'all. You're fantastic, and we'll talk more soon.